case of an emergency, a crew member will hand out those life jackets and instruct you on how to use them. You should know though where they're located. This phony black smokestack behind me is not stacked with smoke, it's actually stacked with life jackets. So they're there. There's a couple of white bins here at the front of the top deck closet full of life jackets. Speaking of downstairs, that's where the bar is. Max is our bartender. He can hook you up with soft drinks, mixed drinks, beer, wine, water, snacks, tea, coffee, whatever you're looking for down there. So all the amenities are aboard the boat here, including restrooms. There's a restroom on either side of the boat, so right at the bottom of either one of these staircases. You're welcome to get up and use those at any time during the tour. I will certainly be insulted if you get up and walk down in the middle of my speech, but you know, I'm insulted by that too. Everybody just keeps interrupting me. That's okay. There are more important things than my feelings. You're welcome to go down to the bar and get yourself a drink, or go use the restroom at any time. One quick note on the bridges. You'll notice there are a lot of bridges in front of us we're going to be going under. Please do not reach up and try to touch those bridges. They're old and rusty, and we do not offer complimentary tetanus shots. So it'll keep your hands inside the boat here. With that in mind, let's talk about the city of Chicago a little bit. For the surrounding area, the big group in the back, we got a couple of people towards the front as well. All right, if I got anything wrong at any point, shout me down, tell me I'm wrong. You guys are smarter about the city than I am. I want to hear from you. Those of you who are not from Chicago, you can just trust, take my word for it, everything I say is true. Including the fact that this is where it all started, right here. This is the birthplace of modern Chicago. That's why we docked from here. Everybody wanted this spot. We got it. The birthplace of modern Chicago. Take a look to the right where those glass walls are right there. That's the Apple Store, and that is the location of Jean-Baptiste Pointe-du-Sable's settlement. One of our famous architectural styles. That big boxy black building is the American Medical Association building now. At one point it was the IBM building when it first opened back in 1971. That building was designed by a man named Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. Mies van der Rohe was a German who fled Germany under Hitler's rule and came to the United States. He settled down in Chicago because the city of Chicago promised him, this notable architect, that if he came here, he would get the opportunity to design his own uniform in the 20th century. And these next two buildings that we see here, these corncob looking buildings, those are modernist buildings as well. And what modernism essentially means is no decoration, no ornamentation. The buildings are all considered functional, not interesting. Usually you see those hard right angles. You see very dark facades. Designed by a man named Bertrand Goldberg. Bertrand Goldberg was a student of Mies van der Rohe, and he designed these marina towers to be round because, in his words, architecture should be communal with nature. And there are no right angles in nature, so we shouldn't have right angles in buildings either. So he designed those circular buildings. Mies van der Rohe hated them. Remember, Goldberg was those Bertrand Goldberg buildings are interesting as well, those marina towers, because they were designed to be a city within a city. He was trying to draw people into downtown Chicago, and he did. The idea was you put a bank and a grocery was over 40,000. So the population of the actual city of Chicago, the downtown area, is really booming lately. And one of the things you'll notice on the river of Chicago, off to make room for this LaSalle Street Bridge here several decades ago. A lot of people also hate that building because it used to be the home to Chicago Traffic Court, for side of the river. This building to our right now is a much newer building, designed just within the last 15 years. And that's really the wave of the future in terms of skyscrapers, because that is a LEED certified platinum building, which means it is extremely environmentally friendly. That building is actually cleaning the river water as we pass it right now. It's using the river water in the cooling system inside the building. It sucks up the water, it cycles it through the building, used in the air conditioner system, and then pushes it back into the river cleaner than it was before. And that's the new wave in architecture, because skyscrapers are not typically environmentally friendly. Environmental design. Platinum is the highest you can go. Gold is the second highest. And this building to our right now is actually a LEED certified gold building, which is surprising because that building opened in 1930. In those days, they were not all that concerned with environmentalism in buildings, but they've been able to retrofit a lot of the older buildings in Chicago, including the Merchandise Mart to our right. This building is actually known as the Mart today. For most of its history, we called it the Merchandise Mart. I still do, usually. This building was the biggest in the world at the time that it was built in 1930. Not the tallest, but the biggest in terms of surface area. And it was designed to be the major retail offices for Marshall Fields and some of the other main retailers in the city, like Sears and Roebuck, guys like that. It was the most expensive building in Chicago, and they couldn't rent out any of the office space. Does anybody think of why 1930? Why might be hard to rent out office space? Yeah, you got an idea? The Great Depression, bingo. Brilliant answer, yeah. Joseph Kennedy for only about $13 million. The Kennedy family owned that building for about 50 years. They eventually sold it for over $600 million, so a pretty good investment by them. That building, by the way, is still the third biggest in the country in terms of surface area. The only two that are bigger are the Pentagon and the Sears Tower. We're at Wolf Point right now, a historic location in Chicago. This is really the first social center in the city's history. This is where the first bars were built. Now it's the home to some really innovative architecture. You notice a couple of buildings over there that are kind of pulled in off the river a little bit, narrow bases. That's because that's an active train line off to our right. And so the buildings have to be pulled in off the river. So you see this one immediately to our right with that arch. That arch is not ornamentational, that's structural. It's helping support the building. And then just beyond that, you see that kind of pencil building. It looks like it's balancing on its tip. That was a very narrow plot of land that they were able to build on a very strong base there. This building immediately to our right as we turn this green to this spot, it's got green glass that reflects the Green River, and there's a curve in that building that echoes the curve of the Chicago River there. And that's because people got sick of those boring Mies van der Rohe buildings that all looked identical. No decoration on them. They were designed that way specifically because we're on the river, we're surrounded by bridges. So they put a bridge into the actual design of the building, and then on either side of that bridge is what looks like a bridge house. So that was another 1980s building, late 1980s. All of a sudden in the 80s they said, no, let's design specifically for where we're located. And that's what they started to do. And they started to highlight the river a little bit, which was the stall in this lock. So we can actually determine at all times how much water is going from the lake into the river. This has become into recreational boats. Anybody has access to this 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. One of the busiest locks in North America. I'm going to take a break while we're sitting here in this lock for a couple of reasons. One is because we're not moving. I got nothing to talk about. So I also want to let you guys get a chance to see how the lock works. So while we're sitting here in the lock, you've got a few options for what you can do with your time. You can sit silently in your seats and just miss the sound of my voice, which is a good option, but it's probably not your best option. If you'd like, you can watch the way the lock works. The boat's going to raise about 5 feet into the air. You're going to be 5 feet taller on the lake. The picture of you, I'd be happy to do so. Otherwise, head down to the bar, head down to the restroom, or sit down and enjoy yourself in the lock. I'll be back on the microphone in just 5 minutes. My name is Terry. If anybody has any questions for me while we're sitting here, please come on up. Feel free to ask, and I'll talk to you again soon.
Oh wow, it's rising too. Oh, open. The bridge is open. And the water's flowing inside the yung ship ano yan, pataas kami din hanggang paabot kami sa level sa tubig
marami nang pumasok ng tubig.
ayan
Nandun na yung water level sa sa line sa wall.
na open na papasok na nila yung tubig yan. Yung ship ano yan tataas din kasi yung tubig ang dami nang pumapasok dito sa loob. See, kita nyo yung bridge close open open siya ngayon.
All right, everyone, that horn means we are just about not the same thing then, okay. As we head onto the lake, you should, if you're up at the bow of the boat, you're going to get splashed a little bit. It's a warm day, you might want to get splashed a little little bit. So if anybody does want to get wet, the bow is the place to be. But if you prefer to stay dry, I would definitely advise you to come to the top deck, at least just for the lake portion of our tour today. As we make our way onto the lake, you'll notice there are a few differences between the lake water and the river water. It's a very different body of water. It's much, much bigger than the river is. Much more impressive, but it's actually a lot less important in terms of the history of our city. The city does not exist as a result of the lake. It exists because of the river. The lake has always been something, though, that we have been able to use to our benefit. Right at the front of the boat. The lake has been something we've tried to use to beautify our city. And that's something that Chicago hasn't always been known for. It hasn't been known for its beauty. In a lot of ways, it's been known for its ugliness, its industrialism, the local public and for visitors alike. And part of his plan was to build giant boulevards, big parks. But sure enough, there are World War II planes at the bottom of this lake. Several of them have already been exhumed, but there are still some more down there as well. Navy Pier after World War II was used for a lot of different things. It was a school for a little while. It was nothing for a while. It was just kind of an albatross. Nobody knew exactly what to do with it. And then finally in 1995, they turned it into what it was always supposed to have been, a recreational area, an area that is open to the public. You can see this green domed building right here. That's the Grand Ballroom. That's the oldest part of Navy Pier. We don't have as many balls these days as we used to. We used to go in there and do our jitterbugs and dance to Charleston and whatnot. And you see that very tall ceiling and those big wide windows because there's no air conditioning in there, so they had to make the building as wide open as possible so there was good airflow. It's used for conferences and for a variety of things now. That building is still in use. Most of what's on Navy Pier today is pretty much new. Since 1995, or in a lot of cases even newer than that, there's a beautiful new hotel there, the Sable Hotel, just opened a couple of years ago. There are a lot of restaurants and bars. The world's biggest rooftop bar is on Navy time. But the fastest growing city in recorded world history. Chicago sprouted up overnight, and they really wanted to prove to the rest of the world that we had become a major city, a world-class city. So in the late 1880s, it was announced that a big World's Fair was coming to the United States. And Chicago wanted to host this fair. St. Louis also wanted to host the fair, but once we were done laughing at that, it was between Chicago and New York. Both cities really wanted the fair, and they launched these smear campaigns in the press. New York said Chicago is a second-rate city, third-rate even. If they host this fair, they'll make the entire country a laughingstock. It'll be a big embarrassment. People were left homeless by the way Chicago thought. A lot of people thought this is a city that is
The bridge is open.
It's set to disembark at this time. Please check around, make sure you have all your personal items that you come on board with. Also, any garbage that you may have, we ask that you kindly toss in the trash bins that we have provided throughout the boat here. Please watch your steps. You folks on the upper deck, you can use either staircase, left or right, to exit. Be ready to come from the stairs, and also watch your heads on the ramp there, low clearance. Watch your heads. Thank you so much. Have a good day.